All 8 guests unanimously agree that the primary challenges contributing to the country's unstable energy situation were revenue mobilization and difficulties in procuring and distributing fuel efficiently.
Energy sector faced 2 main challenges arising from forces external to the sector. And these were, 1, lack of inadequate and secure quantities of reasonably priced fuel for power generation, and the lack of adequate public funds to finance the sector's investments requirements. We need to take another look at the financing.
I don't have a problem.
I don't think we've been very prudent with the financing of the ECG.
Okay.
There have been instances when monies have been diverted for other purposes. And so we need to critically look at it. We are managing ECG financing like a chop bar type of accounting.
But the overarching challenge there is finance. And finance is in 2 sides. There's finance to run and there's finance to earn. I would have liked a situation where we are today with all the institutions. Let's do an audit on all of them.
Even the former Deputy Energy Minister, Andrew Ejapamesa, agrees with them.
Truth be told, we've had some maintenance issues, some of which have been resolved, some of it is ongoing, and we had some challenges with fuel, which on a daily basis, depending on what is available, then determines.
However, he maintains that the primary issue lies in fuel procurement, attributing the erratic power problem to the ECG, which is currently grappling with overloaded transformers.
So the fuel being expensive is true, but I still don't see where that personal interest arises. The outages numbers, right? 85% of it is ECG problem.
Okay.
It's not grid co. It's not the generation problem. That's only about 15% per data that I have seen. So you see clearly that if you are relying on ECG system for a certain kind of industry that requires power 24 hours, tendency for you to want to go, especially if you are a bulk consumer, to go directly to get from the generator is high.
Ranking member on the Mines and Energy Committee, John Jenapo, strongly believes that if the current situation persists, the energy sector is headed towards collapse.
IPP is a little over 1 billion. Fuel-related expenditure, almost 800 million. So today, if you were to flush out the energy sector debts and bring the books to a healthy path, you will need about $1.8 billion in order to deal with energy sector-related debts. And so the bills are compounding and it's threatening the sector. Look, my worry is that if we continue on this trajectory, in 1 year time, the sector will collapse.
Michael Nyantichi, General Secretary of the Public Utilities Workers Union, contends that over the past few years, the ECG has made efforts to enhance its revenue collection. However, he alleges that both the VRA and GRICO have collaborated to lure away some of their major dependable customers who typically pay for their electricity they use, thus disrupting their revenue targets.
ECG puts in a lot of effort, and everybody who wants to be objective can attest that for the past almost 2 years, the effort has been made to enhance the revenue. Then there are also this subtle thing being played out between GRIDCO and VRA, where because of some loophole in the law, some key customers of ECG are being poached. And these were customers who could pay easily and contribute towards the cash waterfall. But ECG is losing these customers. GRIDCO, together with VRA, is giving them some form of rebates. In my head, I remember the B5, and then also some time ago, some of the mines were also taken away. And I think there was one steel plant, which is also more or less being targeted.
Some of the problem, according to the former Commissioner of PURC, Dr. Ni Daku Kobina Santi, is due to power theft, which he says is a major problem.
There are private entities who are not paying ECG for power they are consuming. But the second one is theft. Some people are bypassing meters. Some people don't even have meters, whether they are fake meters or whatever. So some people are consuming power, and ECG is not even billing them for that power. And we need to depoliticize the whole energy space, hold the regulators accountable, let them do their work. If they don't do it, hold them accountable. And especially the leaders of the distribution companies, ECG, Gridco, if they fail, they need to be fired.
Andrew Ejapa-Mensah disclosed that the government is in talks with some private players to enhance revenue, with a primary focus on billing and debt collection.
And these are conversations that we're having with respect of the privatization or some private sector participation in the billing and collection. Discussions are far advanced. Of course, typically you will have the resistance from our friends in ECG. But it's something that I believe will help they themselves. Okay? And so we've tasked them to put in boundary meters as a first step that they are working on. Of course, their digitalization program that they're rolling out to is also helping with the collections. Okay? So when they are able to put the boundary meters in all their operational districts and know the volume of power that is going in every district, then you can introduce private sector people to bill and collect for the power that is coming into that enclave. So it's work that is ongoing. And I believe that in the fullness of time because 30% losses
is high.
Definitely not sustainable.
However, many of the panelists expressed opposition to the full privatization of ECG and other state-run entities in the energy sector.
I challenge you to show me one instance where this type of privatization has worked in this country. So we can give them some minority stake in that bit, but not to get them into the entire ECG to the extent that they sit on the board of ECG.
I don't agree because I feel we are capable. Look, it's a monopolistic area.
We have to make sure that we don't, in our haste to try and privatize, have a situation where these losses are just continued. So it's not that simple. But at the end of the day, we have to make sure that both ECG and NEDCO reduce both collection losses and distribution losses, which is including theft.
Even chair of the Mines and Energy Committee in Parliament, Samuel Atachia, is of the firm belief that full privatization is not the way to go.
I can see that as a very powerful option in the future. But in the meantime, I agree with Rankin that something should be done about the collection of revenues by ECG. In the energy space, we shouldn't run it like an ambulance. We should not only think in emergencies, we should think long run.
Meanwhile, independent power producers who are owed more than $1 billion expressed readiness to sign the debt restructuring agreement with the government despite apparent delays from the government side.
Going forward too, there is still an accumulation going. That is also another matter. So it's still in the region of $1 billion.
In the region of $1 billion? Yes. Okay. Now, last year, once this whole discussion came up, ECG promised to remain current. Are they still current with their payments?
Yeah, they are doing their bit as we speak.
There was a banter between the ranking and the chair about what the president put out in terms of some sort of negotiation with you, the IPPs. What's the status of that?
The fact is we have had a series of engagements. But at the end of every engagement, there's supposed to be a concluding point. To make this document useful and to call it a conclusive arrangement, we need to sign off. Until it is signed off, we cannot say that we have reached there. But let me confirm that we have very peaceful engagements on the issues concerned.
Okay. So almost sort of, there's been a verbal agreement between the two
Yes,
the parties.
impliedly.
Okay.
But what is stopping the signing?
Okay.
That I cannot tell because...
But you're the CEO of the chamber.
What I mean is, on our part, we are ready to sign off.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
Ultimately, the participants agree that the nation must begin diversifying its energy mix, including transitioning to renewable sources such as solar and nuclear power plants.
Now, we have not as a country prioritized our renewables. And we've not made enough effort to attract investments into renewable technology. But for a poor country like Ghana, that is where we should be looking.
They are not poor.
We have abundant silica sand in the western region. From Atuabo all the way to Aboso area, silica sand, plenty.
There needs to be a policy where we indicate from a certain time T, any new building that is built in this country should have a solar panel. Any new building.
Yeah.
Any new building. And those that are old buildings, we find a way to also put solar on them. Within 10 years, we would have solarized this country.
Now, nuclear is a way to go. No dispute about it. And we should think long term. We shouldn't run an ambulance. Number two, the hydro, we've not finished with it yet. So it's very right. As you look at our river bodies, instead of this kind of, if you like, bad, pollution of our water bodies, we should see what we'll get out of it.
So that's why we focus, and I agree with you. We need to focus and accelerate our nuclear penetration because it's clean, it's safe. Of course, when something goes wrong, it's terrible.
But it's internationally...
Absolutely, I agree with you 100%. It's part of our energy mix that we've developed under our energy transition framework.